Welcome back to the fourth video in our 10-part series, where we're diving into the wisdom of how to win friends and influence people. So far, we've journeyed through the art of dealing with people and ways to make them like you. Now, we're stepping into the realm of how to win people to your way of thinking. Part 3 of this timeless masterpiece. Today, we'll explore the first 3 chapters of Part 3, offering you valuable insights to sway others to your line of thought. Chapter 1 of Part 3 starts with a powerful statement: you can't win an argument. Now, this might seem counterintuitive, especially in a world where debates and disagreements are commonplace. But let's delve deeper to understand the essence of this statement. The principle here is not about surrendering your beliefs or opinions, but about understanding the futility of arguments. You see, when we argue, we're often so consumed with proving our point that we overlook the impact of the argument on the relationship. We might win the argument, but at the cost of resentment, hostility, or even a damaged relationship. And that's a steep price to pay, isn't it? Consider this example from the book. A man argues with his neighbor about a controversial topic. The argument gets heated, and both parties refuse to back down. In the end, neither of them changes their stance, but their friendship is strained. If instead, they had chosen to discuss their differing views respectfully, without letting it escalate into an argument, they could have preserved their friendship. So, how do we avoid arguments? The book suggests 3 key points. First, be respectful of other people's opinions. Even if you disagree, you can express it without turning it into an argument. Secondly, listen to understand, not to respond. Often we're so eager to make our point that we don't truly listen to the other person. And finally, be willing to concede. It's okay to admit that you may be wrong or that the other person may have a valid point. Remember, the goal is not to win an argument, but to win people to your way of thinking. And this is best achieved through understanding, respect, and empathy, not through arguments. So, the key takeaway from Chapter 1: avoid arguments to keep relationships strong and influence others effectively. It's not about who's right or wrong, but about understanding and respecting different perspectives. It's a simple yet powerful principle that can significantly enhance your ability to influence others and maintain strong, healthy relationships. The second chapter introduces us to a surefire way of making enemies and how to steer clear of it. Now, let's dive into what that is. Ever been in a conversation where you adamantly believe you're right and the other person is wrong? It's common and natural to want to voice out and correct them. However, this chapter highlights a principle that might seem counterintuitive. Telling someone they are wrong is an ineffective way to influence them. Yes, you heard that right. It's ineffective. Consider the examples from the book. There's a story about a man who was convinced that he had spent a weekend in Chicago, when in fact he had been in Detroit. When a friend corrected him, he was not only unpersuaded but also became hostile. This example underscores the futility and potential harm of bluntly telling someone they're wrong. Why is this principle so important? It's because it's not just about being right or wrong. It's about respect, understanding, and human relationships. When you tell someone they're wrong, you're not just challenging their ideas. You're challenging their ego, their self-esteem, their very identity. This can trigger defensiveness and resistance, which is not the most conducive environment for influence or persuasion. So, how should we navigate disagreements? The book suggests leading with empathy and understanding. Try to see things from the other person's perspective. Ask questions. Be curious. Show that you value their thoughts and feelings, even if you don't agree with them. This approach can help to lower defenses, foster a sense of connection and openness, and ultimately create a more effective avenue for influence. Remember, it's not about winning an argument. It's about fostering understanding and positive relationships. So, the next time you find yourself in a disagreement, resist the urge to tell the other person they're wrong. Instead, lead with empathy and understanding. You might be surprised at the results. Remember, telling someone they're wrong often backfires. Instead, lead with empathy and understanding. In Chapter 3, we learn a humble yet powerful tool for influencing others: admitting our mistakes. This principle is about humility and accountability, 2 traits that are often overlooked in a world that values perfection and success. But let's be honest, no one is perfect, and we all make mistakes. The difference lies in how we handle these mistakes. It's human nature to want to defend ourselves when we're wrong. We fear judgment, embarrassment, or even loss of respect. However, the book encourages us to fight against this instinct. Instead of defending our mistakes, we should be quick to admit them. Admitting our mistakes shows our human side, that we're fallible, and that we're honest enough to own up to our shortcomings. Let's take a look at an example from the book. There's a story of a department store manager who had to deal with a customer who claimed she'd been sold a defective product. Instead of arguing or shifting blame, the manager immediately admitted the mistake and apologized. He then replaced the product at no extra charge. The customer was so impressed by his honesty and prompt action that she became a loyal customer and even brought in new customers. This example beautifully illustrates the power of admitting our mistakes. Admitting our faults doesn't make us weak, it makes us human. It shows our authenticity, builds trust, and opens doors for better communication. It's not about losing face, but about showing our real face, unmasked and genuine. By admitting our mistakes, we're not just making amends, we're also setting the stage for growth and learning. Because only when we recognize our faults can we truly begin to fix them. But remember, admitting your mistake is just the first step. The next step is to fix it. Apologize sincerely, make amends, and learn from it. This principle isn't about exploiting a loophole in human psychology. It's about being a better, more authentic, and more influential person. So the third principle, when you're wrong, admit it. It's a simple yet potent tool in your influence arsenal. Let's quickly recap what we've learned from these 3 chapters. We started with the understanding that you can't win an argument. Remember, the only way to truly win an argument is by avoiding it in the first place. This principle underlines the importance of understanding empathy and avoiding unnecessary confrontations. We then moved on to the surefire method of making enemies and how to avoid it. This chapter stressed the significance of respecting others' opinions and not telling them they are wrong, even if you think they are. A simple shift in our approach can turn potential confrontations into meaningful conversations. Finally, we explored the third chapter. If you're wrong, admit it. This principle is about taking responsibility and owning up to our mistakes. It's a potent tool for building trust and respect. Admitting our faults doesn't make us weak. In fact, it shows our strength, humility, and commitment to personal growth. Each of these principles, from how to win friends and influence people, offers valuable insights into human interactions and relationships. They encourage us to be more understanding, respectful, and accountable, allowing us to build stronger, more positive connections with the people around us. And that's a wrap for today's video. Remember these principles as you navigate your interactions and conversations. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll delve into the next chapters of how to win friends and influence people. Before we end this video, we just wanted to say thank you for joining us on this journey through how to win friends and influence people. If you found this video helpful, show us some love by hitting that like button. And if you know someone who could benefit from these principles, don't hesitate to share. To ensure you don't miss out on future content, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Until then, keep learning and keep growing.